Wedding, the dream of almost every girl, which seemed dream too. Never in her life Yun thought that her wedding will be like this. Though the person with whom she dreamed to marry was same, but the situation was different. Where she thought she will walk toward her groom with smile and her father beside her. But here she was getting dragged by her groom with tears and hate in her eyes. Jungkook, stop. If you will cry again, I will not hesitate to kill your brother, Chan Hyuk. He shouted, making her flinch and terrified. He was holding her wrist tightly. Yun, why are you doing this, Jungkook? He ignored her words and told the priest to start the rituals. Tears were continuously flowing from her eyes, which didn't go unnoticed by Jungkook. Priest, do you, Jeon Jungkook, take Han Yun as your wife to love her through all ups and downs and cherish her? Jungkook, I do, he said with a cold tone. Priest, do you Han Yun take Jeon Jungkook as your husband to love him through all ups and downs and cherish him? Jungkook was continuously looking at her. She didn't reply anything. Suddenly Yun heard her brother's voice. She looked up to saw him standing a little far for and smiled, but she saw that one of Jungkook's men was pointing his gun towards his head from the back. Yun looked at Jungkook. Jungkook, answer fast, love, he said in a cold yet commanding tone. Yun, I do. Saying this, she looked toward her brother and saw that man lowered his gun. She sighed in relief. Priest, I announce you two as husband and wife now. Priest, the groom may kiss the bride. Hearing this, Yun's heart started to beat rapidly. It's not like she have never kissed him. She have done it many times, but now there is only fear, hate and anger instead of love. He leaned down at her level. She closed her eyes tightly, not wanting to feel his lips on hers, but she felt relieved when he just pecked her forehead. After the rituals, Jungkook took Yun towards her brother to meet him. Yun, Chang Hyuk, how are you? You are okay, right? Chan Hyuk, I am perfectly fine. Nona, congratulations. Nona, have a happy life. Yun slightly nodded and hugged him. Chanyuk, by the way, Nona, where are mom dad? He asked, completely unaware that they are dead now. Jungkook, they are on a business trip. Chanyuk, what? On this precious day? Yun, they had very important thing to do. Jungkook, yes, they left today morning suddenly. Yun looked at him and remembered what he did today morning. Chanyuk, oh. Jungkook, Yun, let's go now. We should leave. Yun, but Jungkook, Jin Hyung, please take care of him. He said to one of his friend before Yun could say something. Jin, let's go, champ. You can stay with me for some time. Chen Hyuk, Nona, should I go with him? Yun looked at Jungkook, who was giving her a deadly glare. Yun, yes, you go. Take care of yourself. Chan Hyuk nodded his head like an obedient child, which he is. Even though he is just 16, still he is very smart. He started studying in States since 14 while living with one of his relatives with the encouragement of his lovely sister. Yun to pursue his dream. Jin took Chan Hyuk with him while Yun was looking at his fading figure. Jungkook, don't worry, I won't do anything to him until you behave well. After reaching the mansion, Jungkook took Yun in their bedroom and locked the door. Yun, what are you doing? Yun started when Jungkook started walking towards her with his slow steps. Suddenly, Yun hit the wall while walking backward. Jungkook caged her in between arms and started leaning down towards her neck. Yun suddenly pushed him. Yun, stay away from me. From me, Jungkook. Jungkook, my kitten has gotten some guts, I see. Well, I was telling you to change your dress and sleep. I am leaving. Saying this, he stepped back. Yun immediately ran toward the bathroom. She started crying in the bathroom. Jungkook's heart clenched hearing her sobs. He never intended to hurt her, but in the end he hurted her. Jungkook, everything will be fine, princess. Saying this, he left the room. After 2 hours, Yun came out and laid herself on the bed. Yun, I'm sorry, mom and dad. I never thought that our 3 years of love will turn out like this, she said, staring at Jungkook pictures which was hanging on the wall. Next morning, Yoon came down after doing her morning routine. She saw Jungkook and Jin were talking about something. Jungkook, yes, Hyung, I'm surely gonna do that. You too tight the security of my mansion. I can't take any chance regarding her. Jin, sure, did you told Yoon everything? Jungkook, not yet. She will believe that or not. Jin noticed Yoon standing at the stair. He signaled Jungkook and he looked toward her. Jungkook, Yoon, let's have our breakfast. Saying this, he left from there. Jin approached Yoon. Jin, Yoon, come, let's have breakfast. Yoon, I have no appetite, she said coldly. Jin, Chan Hyuk, fine, don't worry, eat your food. Jin, Chang Hyuk will go back tomorrow and Jungkook won't do anything to him. Just eat your food, otherwise you know what Jungkook can do and me too can't stop him. So please, I care for you, that's why I am saying this. I still see you as my little sister, he said, caressing her hair. He left to the dining. Yoon sighed and slowly followed him. They were eating silently until Yoon, I'm done, she said, getting up from the chair. Jin, already? She just nodded. Jungkook, finish your food completely, he said coldly, looking at her. Yoon, I don't want to, she said, gritting her teeth. Jin, Jungkook, let her, he got by Jungkook. Jungkook, eat your food, Yoon. Yoon, I said right, I don't want to. Yoon was standing beside Jungkook, so Jungkook pulled her on his lap. She kept her hands on his shoulder to maintain balance. Jin silently got up from his seat, leaving them alone. Jungkook, now eat, he said, extending a fork towards her mouth. Yoon, leave me. She was struggling to free herself, but he was way more stronger than her. Jungkook, eat it or you want me to do something else too? Jungkook, by the way, Chan Hyuk is still with me, he said, looking straight in her eyes. Yoon, no, wait, I will eat. First leave me. Jungkook, eat like this. Yoon. But she stopped. When he raised his eyebrow, giving her a glare, she gulped and started eating while sitting on his lap. Yoon, I am done, she said, finishing her food. Jungkook, good job, princess. Yoon, stop. Don't call me. I hate that word. You lost all the right to call me that, Jungkook. I have every right on you, even before our marriage and after our marriage too. Yoon, no, you don't have any right on me. Saying this, she got up from his lap and ran upstairs. Jungkook just sighed, looking at her disappearing figure. Jin came toward him. Jin, you should not have threatened her to even eat, Jungkook. If I wouldn't have threatened her, then she surely wouldn't have eaten, and I know she hadn't eaten from yesterday. 2 weeks later, Yun was searching for a dress wearing only bathrobe when she left two muscular arms wrapping around her waist. By his cologne, she already guessed who is it. Yun, Jungkook, leave me. He didn't said anything nor that he left her. Suddenly he heard her sobbing. He turned her around. Jungkook, what happened? Yun, I should ask that. What happened to you? Why? Why did you kill my parents? Why? I just tears started rolling down her cheeks. They both were having a painful eye contact. Only if I wouldn't had accepted your love, only if I wouldn't have loved you, they both would have been alive. I loved you in spite of you being a mafia, but Yun, I forget that once a monster is always a monster. I regret you. I regret me. I regret us. I fucking regret us. Jungkook, you regret us? Go ahead. But still, it won't change the fact that you are my fucking wife. And you can never escape from me. Saying this is, he smashed his lips on her. She didn't respond to his kiss nor pushed him. That wasn't a sweet kiss at all. He was kissing her hungrily, as if he was pouring his anger and sadness into the kiss. He bit her lip, causing it to bleed. She hissed, and suddenly he broke the kiss. Jungkook, learn to love me again, just the way I am. He banged his hand on the nearby mirror, causing it to break into pieces, and he left from there. Few drops of blood was also displaying on those broken pieces of mirror, which means he got injured. She knelt down on the floor and started crying miserably, blaming herself totally. After 4 hours of crying, she slowly drifted into sleep. Yun slowly opened her eyes and saw herself lying on the floor. Her eyes moved towards the broken pieces of mirror, and yesterday flashback starts coming into her mind. She got up slowly and moved toward bathroom to freshen up. Yun came in a bedroom after taking a long warm shower. Wearing a comfortable dress, she started at herself in the mirror and saw the small cut on her lips caused by that kiss. She was blankly staring at herself in the mirror when suddenly she heard door knocking sound that too continuously. She opened the door only to see Jin. Breathing heavily and ready to knock on the door again. Yun, please save Jungkook, he will die. Yun, what are you talking about? What happened to him? Jin came inside and Yun followed him. Yun, Oppa, what happened? Jungkook, he isn't listening to me. He drank a lot and Jin, now he is fighting with our man continuously without caring about his wounds. Please, he will only listen to you. Yun, why will he listen to me? Jin, because he loves you. He loves you only. Yun, really? He loves me? He never loved me. If he ever loved me, then he would have stopped when I told him not. Yun, to kill my parent, but her eyes started getting teary saying those words. Yun, it's not like what you think. He didn't did any wrong. Yun, really? He didn't? How can you say that? Yun, Jungkook told me not to tell you this, but now I guess you should know the truth. Yun, what truth are you talking about, huh? She shouted. Jin, they were not your real parents. He shouted, making her numb and confused. Yun, what are you saying? It can't be true. Yun, I'm saying you the truth. From your childhood, your whole life was a lie. A fucking big lie. Yun stumbled and fell on the edge of the bed. Of course, how will you react if you got to know that the people whom you were calling mom and dad were not your real parents? In fact, the people whom you are calling your parents. You know what, Mr. Lee? Your real father was a famous businessman whom telling him to continue. Jin, they were not from Jungkook enemies but from your fake parents. Jungkook couldn't control himself and killed them just to protect you and married you for your safety. You know Chan Hyuk is not your real brother but Han, so he would have killed him too. But we found that he is innocent. That's why he left him, otherwise he would have killed him. One more thing, Jungkook is the son of Mr. Jeon, best friend of your real father. His father took a promise from him that he will protect you, but in that process he started loving you truly. And still, if you want proof, then see it. He took out a pen drive and connected it to Jungkook's laptop, which was kept on the side table. A video started playing. In that video, there were some man and Mr. and Mrs. Han. Mrs. Han, take this money and by tomorrow I want that bitch dead, she said, giving them a bag. Man 1, don't worry, she will be dead by tonight and we will make sure to make it look like an accident. Those men left. Mr. Han, now after she will die, her whole property will be ours. We have waited so many years for that. Mrs. Han, right honey? Now I just can't wait for her to die. Mrs. Han and go to her real parents. They both started laughing. Yun's heart broke into million pieces hearing that. She felt like her whole world shattered. Jin closed the laptop and caressed her hairs. She started crying loudly. Yun, I was so stupid to trust them. How could they? I fought with Jungkook just for them and they? Yun, I said many hurtful words to him. He will never forgive me. Jin, he will for now just go and talk to him. Otherwise he will take his life. Yun suddenly got up and wiped her tears. Yun, where is he? Jin, he is in the garden area. Jungkook, don't you all have strength? He shouted at his man. They were standing while hanging their head low. His hands were bleeding. There were injuries all over his face. Suddenly he grabbed a man's collar and started beating him. The man started defending himself by fighting. Suddenly he left two small hands. Yun, why didn't you told me? She said in a low tone. Jungkook, Jin Hyung told you, right? I thought you won't believe me. Yun, I would have if you have shown me proofs. I am sorry. I'm sorry for whatever I said. Please forgive me, Jungkook. I was never angry with you. I am all yours. Jungkook, to even treat like that. Yun, why are you like this? I can never get bored of you. Jungkook, Jeon, Jungkook is not an easy thing, Mr. Jeon. She hugged him, chuckling. Yun, thank you for protecting me. Jungkook, I didn't protected you. I protected my life. Yun, you are so cheesy. Jungkook, is it? But I was saying truth. Yun, cool. He hummed, still hugging her. Please don't do that, Jungkook. Don't do what? She pulled out from the hug. Yun, hurting yourself and other too, she said, looking at his injuries. Jungkook, okay, I'm sorry. He said, touching her wounded lip. I didn't mean to hurt you. I was just not in my right mind. Yun, it's okay, I understand. Now let's get inside. Jungkook, yes, yes, and you remember? Yun made a confusing face. We still haven't spent our first night, he whispered in her ear. Yun, yeah, you pervert. She playfully hit his chest. Jungkook, ouch, it hurts. Yun, hurt, let me show you. Saying this, she started to hit him on his chest. But turn out you are my biggest angel. Your princess will never leave you.